Kev Baker Show.
And then today, we wake up and we talk about the worst of times and the best of times. And we know I'm a bit of a geek, right? So you would expect the discovery of gravitational waves to really, really pique my interest. Well, it did, but for all the wrong reasons. So today we are told that US scientists have announced the discovery of ripples in space and time known as gravitational waves in a breakthrough that could revolutionize astronomy. Their existence was first predicted by, wait for it, Albert Einstein in his theory of relativity a century ago, but has never been proven until now. Or so they say. And to loud applause, researchers from the Advanced Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, easily referred to as LIGO, unveiled their findings in Washington, D.C. Laser physicist Professor David Reitz from the University of Florida told the National Press Club, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have detected gravity waves. We did it! Eureka!" And at the press conference, they played what they called a chirp, the signal they heard last September the 14th, believed to have come from the distant crash of two black holes. It was a moment that might have surprised even Einstein himself, who also theorized that scientists would never be able to hear such gravitational waves. A British member of the international team said it was, quote, the biggest scientific breakthrough of the century. Professor James Hoff from the University of Glasgow, no less, said the find was more important than the Higgs boson, that so-called God particle. But let's wait a moment, shall we? Gravitational waves. Really? Well, as you all know, I've formed a really good working friendship with Mr. Anthony Patch. And Anthony has been all over this, and he's given me permission tonight to read out his response to these gravity waves. And the title is Wrong, No Gravity Waves. Magnetism, Yes. Yesterday, I posted the pending announcement regarding proof of gravitational waves. This is pure nonsense. Just as black holes are nonsense, the universe is composed of electrically charged particles and plasma. Thus, what mainstream science labels as gravity waves and graviton particles is at a minimum misleading to the public. At worst, deliberate in covering up the truth as to how the universe and our understanding of its mechanics described by modern-day physics and science in general. So Tony's basically saying there's a cover-up on here. He goes on to say that what is important to understand herein is the grander cover story at play. Today's announcement is on par with that of the purported discovery of the Higgs boson, the God particle, which was discovered at CERN. These two, quote, discoveries, and I place these in italics, given that they are nothing more than imaginary constructs of the mainstream scientists. For they are prominent examples of the military-industrial complex run amok. What the public is unaware of is this. These are jobs programs. The inertia of big science, as it is affectionately known within the hallowed halls of both academia and laboratories around the world, is more akin to a runaway freight train, a train loaded with money. All the while, individuals, cities, countries, states, and nations struggle to have a roof over their heads and food on their tables. To justify their massive grant programs, to justify the industrial corporations supplying big science, their expensive instruments and machines, like the multi-billion-dollar LHC. To justify all of it are experimental projects and programs exactly like the one we're talking about at LIGO, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. It is not simply my opinion stated here. For more evidence of the electric universe and the debunking of gravity itself, I suggest you look at the work of researchers and scientists at the Thunderbolt Project. I am not a spokesman for them, but one who appreciates their careful and, yes, scientific work in debunking the overt adherence by big science to the gravity model of the universe and how it operates. For it truly is all about electricity, and more specifically, electromagnetism. Whether one is examining the cosmos, as in the cited article here, or at the quantum level of our universe. I will not getting tongue-tied there, Johnny Whistles. I will not delve into the intricacies of the discussion here, more in the future postings and videos. And Tony is going to be coming on tomorrow night to Freaky Friday to discuss this. But Johnny, the more we've been talking to Tony and getting him onto the show and the research I've been doing away from that, this whole electric universe seems to make a heck of a lot more sense. Now then, if that's the case though, why the big cover-up, Johnny? Why are they talking about gravitational waves and things like that? Why don't they just come out and talk about the plasma and the electromagnetism?
Well, Kev, I think the reason being, and the more I look at electric magnetism, the more I see that being gravity, what everybody thinks is gravity. Do you know what I mean? Because it's, if you can imagine, Kev, they've been wrong all this time, right up until now, but it's gravity. Everything's been gravity. Now, why would they want to change that, even though they know it's electromagnetism? Because if you can imagine, the two of them must be the exact same. If, for talking sake, where you send a satellite into space, now you send it around the moon a couple of times to make a slingshot, but the thing is, they use the gravitational pull in their mathematics. But are they really using electromagnetism? Because it just sounds the exact same to me.
And these are all very, very interesting and timely questions. And you know, I must admit, I've always been a keen kind of interest in space and science. As you can all tell, don't call me Quantum Kev for nothing. And gravity and gravitational waves used to make a heck of a lot of sense to me. Because if you think about it, if you picture taking a towel, you take a towel and then you put it between two chairs. So you've got it kind of sagging in the middle. Now then, drop a snooker ball onto that. What happens? It sags down, doesn't it? Well, that's the kind of thing that happens when you've got one of these massive objects in space. Now, if you picture it starts spinning or something dramatic happens and it explodes, well, that would send ripples out along the towel, yeah? Well, that's basically what they were saying with these gravitational waves. And what they think they can do is, because after the Big Bang, another theory, just a theory, the universe was expanding rapidly, Ken, and then it started to slow down. And when it slowed down, that caused these wrinkles to appear. Now, these scientists are telling us that by looking at these wrinkles, which they now say they can detect, they're going to be able to get a glimpse at the Big Bang. What do you think, man?
They gonna think that they're gonna get a look at the Big Bang. Come on. The Big Bang that started everything. You gotta really look at that thing. That goes deep. You can go woo. I mean, right, just with that. But just the audacity that people think that they're gonna crack this code of the universe. It's beyond me. I think a lot of that stuff is just a bunch of crap. It's like, well, it's like gravity, Do you want to call it gravity, or do you want to call it, some electromagnetic, whatever you want to call it, but something keeps us on the ground here.
It does. Something keeps us on the ground, Ken, right? But
I know. And it's not that I don't appreciate the search for those things. But like I'm just a simple kind of guy, and I'm not a rocket scientist.
You think about this, Ken. You think about this, okay? And I want the listeners to think about this as well, because this gravity thing holds us to the ground, right? Really powerful force, brings everything crashing back down to Earth. But if you pick up, well, your lighter or a packet of cigarettes or something like that, then you can quite easily defeat that gravity, can't you? Because you just lift it up. Surely that should be forcing your hand back down. Strange, yeah?
But now I do tell you, I'm going to tell you, going in here in the U.S. now, I've been all along the entire United States, been around the world at different elevations. And I was a single engine private. I had my private pilot's license when I was a teenager, and you can tell the difference from the pole, right? And so I think there's, I don't know. You go to Denver, you're Mile High City, you're way up in there. You can tell the effect it does have on your body in the pull down, in the air elevation, whatever it is. There's a big difference when you're at higher elevations than when you're down. So there's something there. Maybe gravity is the wrong word you want to use, but it's kind of means all the same things. These people, we can't even make a battery that's worth a crap. Now seriously, man, and we talking about some stuff like that and black holes and all this stuff. It's like you got to walk. You got to crawl before you walk. That's what you got to do. We trying to jump the gun and act like we full steam running, and we ain't never crawled. And we can't make a daggone battery. And all day long, because I'm a full-time dad too, and I'll tell you what, all day long, I'm sitting there changing batteries out, and I'm thinking, this is the biggest waste of storage for energy that I've ever seen in my life. It doesn't last. It's just, and it doesn't do nothing but take up space in the junkyard from all these batteries all over the place. It sucks, man. We can't get that. We can't even make a decent battery. Nah, man, I ain't got no faith in what these people talking about is going on. Because what did they tell us? I mean, heck, we got to wait 20 years to get information about 20 years ago through declassified government documents and stuff like that. And we expect them to be telling us, hey, here's what we're doing at CERN. No, I don't believe a word that's coming out their mouth about CERN and what they found, what they done, where they been. I ain't paying no attention.
Ken, that's what makes me laugh as well. And Whistles, I'll bring you in here, because when the X-Files started, we had the CIA releasing a whole spate of documents. I'm sitting thinking, they're being released by the CIA. Are they really going to contain anything that's of any use to anyone? Can we trust them with stuff like that? But Johnny, we're talking about these gravitational waves, and you were telling me tonight, pretty much like Ken was saying there, we don't really know much at all, because NASA, our favourite agency, well, they're watching a comet or an asteroid right now, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, Kevin. For some reason, they keep changing the time, the trajectory, and it's been going on for ages now. But this thing is meant to come pretty close on the 5th of March of this year, so look out for that.
Why can't it be the 7th of March? And I say, why can't it be the 7th of March? Because that is Shivratri Day, and that is the day of Shiva. Yes, that Shiva that sits at CERN. We've spoke about that before. And Johnny, who knows what would happen on the day of Shiva? I wonder if they're firing up the LHC that day. We'll need to get Tony's take on that tomorrow night, and we will be debunking the heck out of this tomorrow night. We'll also be going into a lot of fake disclosure that we feel will be coming this year. Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, easily referred to as LIGO, unveiled their findings in Washington, D.C. Laser physicist Professor David Reitz from the University of Florida told the National Press Club, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have detected gravity waves. We did it. Eureka!" and time known as gravitational waves in a breakthrough that could revolutionize astronomy. Their existence was first predicted by, wait for it, Albert Einstein in his theory of relativity a century ago, but has never been proven until now. Or so they say. And to loud applause, researchers from the Advanced Laser
This is the Kev Baker Show.
And then today, we wake up and we talk about the worst of times in the go. And at the press conference, they played what they called a chirp, the signal they heard last September the 14th, believed to have come from the distant crash of two black holes. It was a moment that might have surprised even Einstein himself, who also theorized that scientists would never be able to hear such best of times. And we know I'm a bit of a geek, right? So you would expect the discovery of gravitational waves to really, really pique my interest. Well, it did, but for all the wrong reasons. So today we are told that US scientists have announced the discovery of ripples in space